The release of the Mar-a-Lago affidavit shows that the FBI discovered 184 classified documents back in January. But it seems Senator Roy Blunt was more focused on Hillary Clinton's emails on ABC this morning.
Was it right for the president to take these government documents, which he's supposed to turn over to the National Archives, down to Mar-a-Lago?
You should be very careful with classified documents. I've had access to documents like that for a long time. I'm incredibly careful. I was wondering as I was listening to that discussion if the same things were said when Secretary Clinton had documents, when Director Comey had documents. They had them on the Internet, which is much more dangerous.
Just because, right? Joining me now is Lucy Caldwell, political strategist and former campaign manager for Joe Walsh 2020. Joan Walsh, national affairs correspondent for The Nation, and Luke Broadwater here in studio, congressional reporter for The New York Times. Welcome, all of you. So let's sort of tee off on that first, Luke, with Roy Blunt. You know, doing the. I've been in those meetings, my friend, on Tuesdays at the lunch. They'd sort of lay out the talking points for the weekend, right? And when he made that pivot, I knew exactly that was discussed. Does that work? Are people buying this whole whataboutism with Hillary and her emails in the face of what we're seeing now happening out of this investigation to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I think what you're seeing is the Republicans are noticing a shift in the polls on this issue and a shift in their midterm chances of success. I was talking with some Republicans this weekend, Republican strategists, and they were saying that they've started to downgrade their level of success in the amount of House races they can win. And they see that Donald Trump being back as the center of the news again is not good for them. So this prolonged fight over in the courts over these documents, every day more stuff coming out about Donald Trump refusing to give the documents back, highly classified materials that could endanger national security, could endanger sources, human sources. None of that has been good for them. It's maybe been good for Donald Trump and rallying around Donald Trump. But so I think you're seeing they want to talk about something else. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton. Let's talk. And so I think that's exactly what that strategy was.
So Lucy, pivoting off of Luke's point about the strategy, we had Representative Mike Turner of Ohio on Fox this morning saying the documents are a bookkeeping issue. Okay, let's take a listen to that.
In the affidavit itself, they cite the archivist. They don't cite the intelligence community. They don't cite the director of CIA, Department of Defense, or even the director of national intelligence as opining that these documents or this situation is a national security threat. They cite the archivist. So this sounds more like a bookkeeping issue than it is of a national security threat, which means it doesn't rise to the level of justifying raiding the former president's home.
So, Lucy, is the idea is just to dumb this down as much as you possibly can and just blow past the fact that the president's sitting there with 184 documents that are highly classified?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go with bookkeeping issue, then let's go with bookkeeping issue. Why was it that no one knew these documents were supposedly declassified by Donald Trump? Why is it that they were in boxes? That sounds very, very non-standard. So I think we could do this all day. They're going to continue to pivot. That's why they're talking about things like raids. We have got to not allow them to call this a raid. This was a pre-planned, scheduled, no guns, right? Like very polite visit from the FBI to Mar-a-Lago. This was not a bookkeeping issue. But again, if you want to say bookkeeping issue, let's go with that. And let's ask them to answer for how these records somehow got taken in boxes into some kind of, I don't know, broom closet in the former president's resort/home. We'll do bookkeeping issue all day. That's fine.
Well, but there's a theme. There's a pattern here, Lucy, because this one's for you, Joe. You had Governor Chris Sununu of New Hampshire on CNN asking why the raid happened before the midterm. So you go from bookkeeping to why are we even having a raid in the first place? Let's take a listen.
This has been a year and a half in the making. right? The former President Trump has been out of office for going on 2 years now. Why? I think this is a coincidence, just happening a few months before the midterm elections and all that sort of thing. So, you know, this is unprecedented, and they had to have an unprecedented strategy, which they clearly didn't have. They're on their heels. They don't know what to do. We want to see the information so we can have this discussion. We can talk about the subject matter, you know, with some sense.
On their heels, don't know what to do. This is just, so complicated. Joan.
He's talking about the Trump team. They're on their heels, Michael. I mean, I thought Chris Sununu was better than that. I mean, he knows very well why this is happening now, because they have been politely chasing the president since he left office, practically, to get these documents back. He's given back some, but not all. He has never come clean about it. So they had to do this. And I'm totally with Lucy. We can't call this a raid. It was not a raid. There were no guns. It was very legal. It was respectful. They had advance notice it was happening. And it's happening now. It should have happened earlier, actually. I really wish they had run out of patience earlier. But they played this out with him and his ridiculous legal team for as long as they could stand it. And now it's over. And the people on their heels are obviously Trump and his ridiculous legal team.
So I want to shift to just for the heck of it, a comment this morning on Fox, yesterday, where Lauren Boebert, bless her heart, fires back at Biden. Let's just take a listen to how this failed.
How the heck can Joe Biden call America First conservatives a threat to democracy with a straight face and a dry diaper? He's the one who has allowed millions to invade our southern border. He's the one who is robbing hardworking Americans to pay for Karen's daughter's degree in lesbian dance theory.
Okay, so all right, Luke, what do you think?
I get the Lauren Boebert response. Exactly. Well, I mean, I think it was pretty clear what President Biden was talking about. He was talking about the challenges to democracy, undermining the will of the people, the authority of the vote, the attack of January 6th, Donald Trump's effort to put forth fake slates of electors and hang on to power by any means necessary, even of inspiring a mob to attack Congress. So that's what President Biden was talking about, and those are very real threats to democracy. And to try to twist it into something else, I don't think is accurate to what the president was talking about.
Yeah, well, but that seems to be the order of things, to sort of twist it as much as possible and sort of get a different narrative going around something that is otherwise problematic for the president. Have you seen a lot of that in your reporting? I mean, how orchestrated is that, or is it just isolated to the likes of Boebert, for example?
Well, Republicans do not, the Republicans who want to win the midterms do not think it's a winning strategy for them to double down on January 6th or double down on subverting the election, or the results of the 2020 election. Now, there is a wing of the party, depending on your district, that knows that wins in the primaries, that wins for the base, it fires people up. But the more sober analysts I talk to on the Republican side do not think that's a winning strategy in purple districts or for any swing voters. So the more that's talked about, I think that hurts them.
All righty. Lucy, Joan, and Luke will be back for more Sound Off after the break. So don't go anywhere because it gets better. We'll be right back.